Hello, Marvel fans, comic geeks, whatever you are. Thanks for watching. My name is Megan, and I am coming to you from Vigilante Vibes Podcast, and I am here with another character breakdown, and I am continuing my breakdowns of Marvel's mutants. And today I want to talk about someone I feel is very underrated, Banshee, whose name is Sean Cassidy. So who is Banshee? Sean Cassidy was created by writer Roy Thomas and artist Warner Roth. The character first appeared in X-Men number 28 in January of 1967. The Cassidy family has a long, colorful history in Ireland, full of legends, secrets, feuds, adventures, and a fair bit of tragedy. And Sean Cassidy has inherited a piece of all of it. Their ancestral home, Cassidy Keep, is an old stone castle perched on a cliff called Cassidy Crag, way out on the coast of County Mayo, overlooking the Atlantic. The Cassidy name has been tied to that land for longer than anyone can remember, and the castle itself was built over 1,000 years ago by Liam Cassidy, who fended off Viking invasions. But it wasn't just a fortress, it also secretly protected the families, a hidden group of small magical beings like leprechauns or elves. These days, the castle is still looked after by Eamon O'Donnell, a longtime steward, who also watches over the families. Sean grew up in the keep, having a pretty carefree childhood filled with dreams of slaying dragons and saving princesses, as kids tend to do. But as a teenager, things got complicated when he started to develop strange sonic powers. He kept them under wraps, especially after his scream freaked out some of the older folks, who thought it sounded way too much like a banshee wail from an old Irish ghost story. Banshee, that's Sean Cassidy's name, has some seriously powerful pipes. His lungs, throat, and vocal cords are built to unleash a sonic scream that could do all kinds of wild stuff, thanks to a bit of psionic help that helps him control and direct the vibrations. He can fly at the speed of sound, even with someone riding along, and his voice can be weaponized in all sorts of ways. He can blast people with deafening noise, knock them out with focused sonic hits, even if they got ear protection, or mess with their heads by disorienting them, making them nauseous, or even putting them into a trance. He can also use sound waves to vibrate himself or other things at insane speeds. His screams can hit hard enough to smash, melt, and even disintegrate stuff when he's going full force. He's got kind of sonar too. By bouncing sound off things, he can see what's around him, which is pretty cool. He can even jam scanners and tech by tweaking the pitch of his scream, and he has a knack for picking up, copying, and blocking other sound-based attacks. To keep from wrecking himself with all that power, Banshee generates a psychic buffer that protects him from his own sonic output, though if he pushes too far, it can still do damage. If he's not using his powers, though, he's just as physically vulnerable as any regular guy. He's got what you might call super hearing, so he can zone in on certain things, block out background noise, filter through a crowd, which is handy when he's doing spy work or trying not to blow out his own eardrums. So he's really powerful, and I don't know why he's so underrated. Sean and his cousin, Black Tom Cassidy, can't hurt each other with their mutant powers. They're immune to each other's energy. Outside of being a mutant, Sean's got a ton of skills. He's a sharp detective, a seasoned undercover agent, great in a fight, a crack shot, and even knows his way around machines. He's also a solid team leader and teacher, plus he's really into American country music and plays a mean piano on the side. He's a busy guy. When he's operating as Sean Cassidy, he sometimes uses regular guns or small explosives. As Banshee, he wears a high-tech costume that can handle high-speed flight and wing-like panels under his arms that can help him ride the sound waves. Sean's cousin, Thomas Cassidy, Black Tom, like I said, ended up becoming his lifelong rival. Like Sean, Tom was a mutant, but he was also a high-stakes gambler who loved living on the edge. He was also originally set to inherit the Cassidy family estate, but in a pretty reckless bet, he lost those rights to Sean. Even after that, Sean kept his cool image, charming, slick, Oxford educated. Compared to him, Sean sometimes felt like a rough around the edges country guy who didn't quite measure up. Back when they were younger, both cousins also found themselves competing for the same woman, Maeve, who Sean met while in Northern Ireland. Later on, when Black Tom teams up with Kane Marco, better known as the Juggernaut, Sean, now fighting as Banshee, goes up against the two of them with backup from the X-Men. Sean's relationship with Maeve doesn't start off easy, especially with his cousin Black Tom also trying to win her over. The two get married and have a daughter, Teresa, who later becomes a hero known as Siren. Tragically, Sean thinks he loses both Maeve and Teresa in a terrorist bombing. What he doesn't realize is that Teresa actually survives and is secretly raised by Black Tom, who never tells Sean she's alive. So he is a true villain, which is so messed up. Sean always had an interest in justice, so he joined the NYPD and later Interpol, and even doing undercover work in the shadowy group known as the Factor 3. Once he takes on the name Banshee, he becomes part of several mutant teams over the years, like the X-Men, Generation X, Mutant Liberation Front, and the X-Corps, always fighting to help make Professor X's dream of a peaceful coexistence between humans and mutants a reality. Thanks to the X-Men, Sean meets brilliant geneticist Myra McTaggart, and the two end up in a long, meaningful relationship. Sean Cassidy's life has been a roller coaster, from wild youth to heartbreak to heroism, tragedy, and rebirth. Sean helped found and lead Generation X, mentoring young mutants alongside Emma Frost. Though he and Emma clashed at first, they grew to respect each other and their students, which is wild because it's Emma Frost, and her and Banshee actually dated for a little bit. But life didn't stay peaceful. Myra died in a bombing by Mystique, sending Sean into a spiral of grief and heavy drinking. He eventually pulled himself together and launched X Corps, a mutant led law enforcement team. Unfortunately, Mystique infiltrated the group, unleashed chaos, slit Sean's throat, stripped him of his powers once again. After a long, long recovery, Sean uncovered a major threat, Gabriel Summers, who is Vulcan. While trying to warn the X-Men, he sacrificed himself by attempting to stop a jet collision midair. He didn't survive the explosion, but died a hero, saving countless lives. This wasn't the end, though. Banshee was resurrected multiple times, first as a pawn of villains like Selene, later by the Apocalypse twins, who turned him into their Horsemen of Death. After a long road of mind control, trauma, and unstable powers, he started regaining control and joined the Mutant Liberation Front. He battled the Brotherhood of Mutants, fought alongside Hope Summers, and eventually returned to the X-Men for good. On Krakoa, the new mutant nation formed by Xavier, Magneto, Myra, Banshee was fully resurrected and cured of his death seed corruption. Reunited with his daughter, Serene, he settled into a life on the island, finally at peace after decades of chaos, loss, and redemption. So that is basically who Banshee is. As usual, I have comics for you to get to know Banshee a little better. You can check out the original run of Generation X. You can check out Cable, number 16, Excalibur, number 82, Uncanny X-Men, number 316, Uncanny X-Men, number 317, Wolverine, volume 2, number 85, X Factor, number 106, X Force, number 38, X-Men Volume 2, number 36 and number 37, and Age of Apocalypse. That is all the Phalanx Covenants crossover. I don't know if I said that word right, but if I didn't, I'm so sorry. So, please make sure you like and subscribe, and have a marvelous day.